Hello, and welcome to Boise State in the Community. I'm your host, Chris Booher, and tonight we are joined with Kathy Hurley and Alexa Wheeler. How are you two doing?
We're doing great tonight. How are you, Chris?
Thank you.
Good, good. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we'll be talking about a program within Boise State called VITA. Kathy, what is VITA?
VITA is the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, and it's sponsored by the IRS across the country, and we help low-income taxpayers complete their tax returns and prepare their taxes.
Okay. Alexa, when is tax season? Did we just barely miss it here?
Barely missed it, yes. The deadline is April 15th.
Okay. And when does tax season usually start for you two? Okay.
Well, it kind of starts when you get your W-2. So in January or early February, usually, and then just flows through.
And we start the VITA program the first Wednesday in February and work through tax season.
Awesome.
And so we're at the Boise Public Library every Wednesday afternoon.
Very cool. Let's see here. Apologize. So what are the demographics that we're working with? Are you strictly students? Are you strictly Boise State? The area Boise?
Actually, we reach out to the entire area of Boise. As I said, it's an IRS program, and we've partnered as a service learning project with the IRS as well as the Boise Public Library. So we set up in the library auditorium and reach out. Boise State students utilize us, and we have just a broad demographic that comes anywhere from a teenager that's not sure where to start to do their first tax return. Elderly will come in. We have refugees, and this year we actually helped a homeless man get his tax refund.
Perfect. So Alexa, what are the advantages to coming to VITA versus your typical CPA or H&R Block or Liberty Tax? Why do people choose to join VITA?
Well, VITA is a program that allows you to file your taxes for free. Mm-hmm. So if you go to H&R Block or any of those other locations, you will be charged. But we are a service that you have to be within the scope, and so we have a limited number of positions that we can help you with. But if you fall within the scope, we can help you prepare your return for free.
And who's working with these individuals? Is it the students that take the class, or do you guys work hand in hand with the federal government, or is it something that you guys have full control of here?
So mostly it's students that are helping. So we have 17 different volunteers, and primarily they are students. A lot of them are grad students, and they're studying tax, and that's their focus. And so those people are the ones hand in hand with the community members preparing the return.
So the students, anybody can volunteer for a VITA program. So there's actually about 13 programs in the Treasure Valley, 13 sites on different days at different times. Anybody that works within a VITA program has to pass certification exams prepared by the IRS. And so you have to be qualified in order to be allowed to assist taxpayers with their returns. And there's actually a basic and an advanced, and then there's 7 other specialty certifications. And so I keep track of who's qualified to help with what. And when our clients come in, that's who gets to help them. So.
Okay. Very good. So you said you have 13 locations. If our students here at Boise State are obviously wanting to find help with their taxes, where would be the best location for them to attend?
Well, they could go to any one of the 13 locations. That would be up to them based on their convenience. We're at the Boise Public Library, which is just across the river, so it's a stone's throw away. At some point in time when we have the capacity, I would like to add where we would have some time on campus, where we would set up appointments and people could come in and have us help us. But at this point in time, I don't have the capacity to add that. I think we could get students maybe to be able to fulfill that, but right now we don't.
Very
Okay.
cool. Obviously, we know taxes are a very important thing here, Alexa. Do you guys find that a lot of the students that are seeking your help, are they very well equipped to do so? I mean, what sort of things would they need to bring to file a yearly tax return to your office?
So what you'll need to bring, proof of, you'll need to bring a W-2, which is it's basically summary of how much you've earned during the year. Any other federally issued forms like 1099s, like interest income that you have, capital gains or anything, just the forms that are sent to you by the government or by your employer. And then social security card or the cards of your dependents if you have dependents. Am I missing anything?
So basically, I think one of the most important things that our students learn in participating is every taxpayer's situation is unique. So I know when I began doing this about 4 years ago, I was thinking, okay, we're helping low-income taxpayers. These should be fairly straightforward, basic returns, and they are not, because there are many, many different credits that different people qualify for. And the important thing is when a taxpayer comes in, to be able to have the forms that will document, and this can come from their employer, it can come from the government, it can come from them maintaining receipts. They need to be able to know what the dollar amounts are, because that's the bottom line, is what is your tax liability or how much is your refund. Probably the vast majority of our clients are getting a refund. And many qualify for the earned income tax credit and education credits and other types of credits, and we're there to help them navigate and gain confidence in preparing their own. They actually prepare their own taxes at our site, and we assist them so that they feel reassured that they're doing it correctly.
Okay, so Alexa, when they come in, it's basically a coaching for them, if you will. You guys aren't just taking the reins and doing the full return for them. You're there working through, showing them ways that they can be more proactive the following years. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. We actually have been using at our site the H&R Block software. So the client themselves will do the return. They will input all the information. We're there to coach them, to help them make sure that they understand what they're doing and that it gets done correctly.
Okay. Alexa, again, do you see people that return year after year, or is, what's the retention look like on the people that come and work with you?
We've actually had quite a few people return this year. This is my first year doing it, but we give every taxpayer an envelope with all of their documents, a printed copy of their return, whatever else they brought in. We give them a copy of that inside an envelope for them to take home. And a lot of those people that are returning have brought their envelopes back from previous years, just as proof and as kind of something to reference as they do this year's return. So it's really exciting to see how they've kind of taken the reins on that themselves, and they want to come back and do it again.
Yeah. Now, Kathy, since this is a program that's sponsored through Boise State, are there any eligibility requirements that you have to meet to come see you guys, or can everybody that needs the help just come find you and work with you?
The IRS sets the requirements. Okay. So at our site this year, and it'll change next year, your income has to be under $63,000. Okay. That's the most basic. We then have requirements if you're self-employed, what's your maximum amount of expenses that you can have. We are not able to help non-resident aliens. That's one of their rules. So there's a scope that we are allowed to assist each year. And that scope changes every year, dollar amount, that kind of thing. You were asking about return. The very first year we did this 4 years ago, we had 59 clients for the entire season and in 8 Wednesdays. This year we helped 204. Wow. And so it's growing. And many of them are return. And I think one of the interesting things is there's a number of our return clients that are coming in as much to come see us again as it is to complete their return. They enjoy working with the students. I usually don't have anybody more than 2 years in a row because they graduate. So, but they do. They enjoy working with the students. And so come on in.
All right. And Alexa, what's in it for you? I mean, what drew you to the VITA program?
So it is a class, so I did get credit for being there. But I think on a bigger scale, I'm a tax student, and so for me, practicing explaining the tax law and understanding how to help someone really apply what I've been learning for the last several years has been really an exciting thing. I helped some people, and it makes a difference in their lives, and it just makes me feel like like I'm doing something good, you know, for the community. So it's just been a really amazing program.
Very cool. And so this is in preparation for your career, if you will. This is an elective, but it's something that you're highly involved in. So it's basically practice for the future, if you will. Yeah. But you guys are also sanctioned by the federal government, and they provide all the materials to you that you need, or is that something that Boise State funds? How does that work?
The Boise State funds my salary and supports me in the efforts that I'm doing. This year the zone came into play because the library lets us use 10 computers that they have, and last year it became pretty obvious that that wasn't going to be enough. And so the zone has assisted this year in that I check out 10 laptop computers and we haul them over to the library and get them set up. So then the IRS provides us with all of the training materials, all of our resources. They actually provide us with a printer and ink. So they provide, plus they have somebody in town who is our partner, that if I need something, I can call her and ask questions, and also that she provides the support to us. I have to report to them before we start the season, and then as students pass additional exams, how many people we have who have been trained and what they're certified in. Okay. So, yes.
Considering that we're now done with tax season and everything was supposed to be filed, can you file for extensions through yours, or you guys basically get cut at the April 15th date?
We are done.
You're done at April 15th, okay.
We are done.
And then once it ends for you, do you guys provide like support down the road? Because I know that tax returns, they can be something that goes year-round, if you will, and sometimes there's audits. And is that something that you and the students are actively engaged with your customers?
Actually, we are not.
Okay.
So we provide, it's called a free self-assisted site, which means the taxpayer comes in and, as Alexa was saying, works through the software with our assistants, and then probably 98% of them, I would say, file an e-file. And if it gets rejected and it's earlier in the season, they'll come back the next week and say, what did we do wrong? And we'll go in and help them figure out what they need to do differently. At this point in time, I will get phone calls, and then I will discuss it with them over the phone. I have helped that way over the summer sometimes if I'm in my office. But at this point, if there's an issue, they're going to have to go to the site or go to the IRS or get help elsewhere or call me. Okay. is what happens often. Yeah. And then I give them the best I can, and if they have to go further, then that's the situation.
So definitely, in a sense, you still are there to help, you know, if they need it. You know, you take the phone calls and take time out of your personal schedule. Absolutely. I'll start with you. What's been so rewarding about this and being involved? Are you guys continuing to grow, or we kind of reached our limit, or what's in the future as well?
We're continuing to grow. I find it very exciting to watch the students grow from okay guys, here's your materials, you need to pass these certification exams, and they're kind of wide-eyed, and how are we going to do this? And so we work through that process, and I consider myself the facilitator. I figure this program is a service learning program. It's a program for students to grow in maturity and in logistics. How do we set this up? How do we work with this? How do we make sure we have everything we need? So that's as much part of it as helping with the tax preparation. And then it's working with all clients. As I said, we had turned out a wonderful homeless gentleman who had a refund coming, and I said, do you have an address? And he said, no. How do I get my refund? I don't have a bank account. I don't have a savings account. Well, can they send it somewhere? No. And we figured out how he could receive it at the post office. And that, to me, this semester was one of the most rewarding experiences we had. For one of our other students, for her, it was a woman whose husband had died. She had investments, and it was probably one of the more complicated tax returns that she'd ever prepared, and she was quite excited to get the assistance. So for the students, It's truly working with a very diverse clientele and handling it on a very professional level and a very friendly level. We set it up to be friendly.
Okay.
You know, we don't want you to be scared to be doing your taxes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Alexa, in regards to our students, what is probably the most crucial thing that they need to know? Do you even find that most students are aware that they need to file their taxes, or is this kind of new to them as well?
I honestly haven't prepared the tax returns of individual students. I've been working a lot with some of the other members of the community, but I think people know that they need to file, but I think probably the biggest problem is they don't even know where to start. Okay. They know that they have a W-2, it came in the mail or it came over email or whatever, but they don't even know what to do with it. So I think the service is wonderful for that.
So what are the goals for the program? We touched a little bit in the next year. Obviously, we, again, just barely missed tax season. Hopefully we can get this out next year as well. I mean, are you guys looking to advertise more on campus? How are we being proactive in growing it and getting the word out?
So getting the word out actually depends on my students. I have a very full plate, and a couple years ago we did manage to get posters up all over campus. We do now appear on the community calendar. The business school puts that out. I work with the library to get it in the activity guide. So we have that. I'm also working with a couple other agencies. My personal goals for the program and for growth, and I think I finally have the contacts to make this happen next year, would be one, to continue the site at the Boise Public Library. As I said, it's expanding. We've quadrupled in 4 years. And then next, there are a number of refugees that come in that sometimes language is a challenge. And so I would like to have a mobile site at some point in time and to be able to take it out to some of the refugee groups so that we could go where they have translators available. They're very excited, maybe the wrong word, but to file their first American tax return. They've kind of made it. And so they need assistance. And I think we could step up there. Alexa and I were actually talking just before we came over that eventually I would like to be able to have, if I have enough students and enough capacity myself, to be able to have maybe 2 or 3 days during tax season that we have set up on campus, the availability to have students or staff come in and let us help them prepare.
Very cool. So Alexa, I was doing a little bit of research based on my taxes for this year. One thing that I found interesting, especially for us students, is I believe it's called the American Opportunity Credit. Are you familiar with that, and how does that benefit students, if you will?
So yes, I'm familiar with it a little bit. I did qualify for it like a couple years ago, but I'm not very up on that particular credit. We didn't, a lot of our clients didn't qualify for it at the site, but Kathy might be able to speak to that a little bit more.
So it's a credit that allows you up to $2,500 the first 4 years of school. There's a number of other requirements in there of what you're studying. Are you a full-time student? Are you not? I think one of the biggest things students have to be aware of is if they are still a dependent on their parents, it's their parents that are allowed to claim it. They cannot.
All right. Both of you, whoever would like to take this one, are there any final thoughts or anything that you would like to leave the community and our students with in regards to taxes?
Come see us at the VITA program next year. It's a wonderful, wonderful program, and it makes all the difference to us when you come and when we can kind of work with you and impart some of our excitement. I mean, we're accounting people, that's what we get excited about. So it is really a pleasure to be working inside the program, and it's made a huge impact on me personally. I've loved the diversity of the clients. I've loved working and kind of just being able to get to know some of the people that I've been helping. So,
and amazing. I think the teamwork of the students is a huge aspect of it. And I guess the last shot would be to students, don't be afraid of filing your taxes.
Yes.
I think that is really the most important thing. As Americans, we have a responsibility to help fund all of this, our university, our roads, our schools, everything. That's what our taxes are paying for. It's the revenue for the country, and they are complicated. And we understand that. And I think many people are fearful that they're going to do something wrong. If you make your best effort, get the help you need, everybody thinks the IRS are the bad guys, and they truly aren't. If you treat them with respect, if you call them just like anybody else, they're going to treat you with respect. And so don't be fearful of it. And file your taxes, do the best you can, and they will work with you, okay?
Well, perfect. That's all good news. Hey, I truly want to thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Alexa. That is all the time we have this evening. You've been a part of Boise State and the community, and we will see you next time.